He thought it would be funny. He thought sneaking that into my backpack would be the prank of the century. But he had no idea the universe and a little divine creativity were about to make me laugh last. Because when you try to humiliate a man of faith, you'd better be ready for the most righteous revenge imaginable. If you ever been pranked, mocked, or made to feel small by someone who thought they were untouchable, hit that like button. Because today's story is about poetic justice served with a side of gospel hymns. We were locomotive engineers, train drivers, a job that demands precision, discipline, and long hours. And like any tight-knit workplace, it was full of characters. One of them was East, the self-appointed clown of the yard. He was the kind of guy who lived for attention. Dirty jokes, loud laughter, an endless supply of immature pranks. If there was trouble to be found, you could bet East's grin wasn't far behind it. Then there was M.O., the polar opposite. Polite, punctual, tie always neatly knotted, hair combed to perfection. He was a man who said grace before every meal and believed order was next to godliness. They couldn't have been more different. Fire and water. And that contrast was exactly why everyone loved to see them interact. East would throw chaos, and Mo would quietly deflect it with a calm smile. Until one day, East decided to cross the line. It started innocently enough. During a coffee break, and Mo casually mentioned that when he got home every evening, he'd hand his work backpack to his wife. She'd take it to the kitchen, unpack his lunchbox, maybe drop his paperwork on the counter, while he went to wash off the diesel and sweat of the day. To East, that was an invitation. He grinned and said, "So your wife goes through your bag every night, huh? Must really trust you." M.O. just nodded, not catching the mischievous spark in East's eyes. And that's when the idea struck. The kind of idea only a fool thinks is funny. That night, East slipped 2 vintage adult magazines into Mo's backpack. The plan? Mo's wife would find them, freak out, and then Mo would walk into a storm of awkward explanations. Classic office prank, right? Except East underestimated his target. The next day, M.O. arrived as calm as ever. No tension, no embarrassment. He chatted about the weather, about train schedules, about a new maintenance routine. Not a single flicker of discomfort. East waited and waited. Days passed. Weeks. Still nothing. Eventually, East convinced himself the joke must have failed. Maybe the wife never saw the magazines. Maybe M.O. threw them away before she noticed. So he dropped it until one Friday afternoon, his phone rang. "East, my friend." Mo's voice was cheerful. "We're having a little gathering this Saturday. Some colleagues, a few drinks, a chance to unwind. You should come." East nearly jumped at the chance. He thought, finally, the man's moved past it. Time for a proper beer-fueled hangout. Saturday came. East showed up, six-pack in hand, wearing his favorite loud shirt. Mo's wife greeted him warmly at the door, smiling like the perfect hostess. The living room smelled of candles and something faintly floral. "Everyone's inside," Mo said, guiding East toward the main room. East pushed open the door and froze. The room was full of people, dozens of them, every single one dressed in Sunday best. A priest stood at the front, Bible open. A choir softly rehearsed him. It wasn't a party. It was a church service. Before East could speak, M.O. beamed and announced, "Everyone, this is my friend East. He's been so excited to join us today." Applause, smiles, a seat waiting for him. Front row. East's six-pack of beer suddenly felt like a hand grenade. For 2 straight hours, East sat through sermons about morality, temptation, and the perils of sin. He tried to hum along with psalms he didn't know, sweating under the gaze of Mo's devout friends. Every time he glanced at Mo, the man just smiled serenely, hands folded, as if to say, "Peace be with you, my brother." The priest spoke about the importance of resisting earthly desires, and Mo's wife occasionally nodded in East's direction with gentle approval, as though she truly believed the poor man was on the path to redemption. By the end, East's face was redder than the church carpet. When the final hymn ended, M.O. escorted him to the door, still smiling, still polite. "Thank you for coming, East." It meant a lot to everyone. East, speechless, mumbled something about needing air. Drive safe. Mo added softly, and don't forget to check your bag before you head home. The door closed with the quiet finality of divine justice. The story spread across the rail yard like wildfire. Nobody ever heard Mo mention the magazines. Nobody saw East pull another prank again. But every time someone brought up that infamous church night, you could see a flicker of something in East's eyes. Part humiliation, part admiration. Because even he had to admit, Mo's revenge was perfect. No shouting, no confrontation. Just calm, holy retribution. East learned that day that not every battle is won with noise or force. Sometimes, the sweetest revenge is a silent sermon. One that makes your enemy sit in his own discomfort, him after him, while you smile like the saint you are. Sometimes, life gives us people like East, loud, reckless, and certain they'll never face consequences. But karma doesn't always strike with thunder. Sometimes it sings in harmony. If that story made you grin, hit that like button, subscribe for more real-life revenge served cold, and tell me in the comments, what's the most righteous payback you've ever witnessed? Because justice, my friends, comes in many forms.